What's up, guys? It's Dave here from Team U-Tier. We're here with our very own Brandon, who finished 4th in the Irish Nationals yesterday, and he also came first in Swiss after becoming undefeated. So let's have a look at this glorious trophy here, Brandon.
Oh, look at it, man. Like
So this is your first top, I believe, in an event.
Yeah,
and you come 4th in a national event. So what are we playing today, Brandon?
we were playing the big dirty Yosenjus.
Yosenju Demise.
So
Yosenju Demise.
let's get into the build.
So you play 3 of this. I actually wanted to play like 2 of each of these, but it's not
You were
possible.
told it was wrong.
I was told it was wrong by my superior, shall I say, even though he's fucking shit. 2 comma 2.
3 comma 2.
Yeah, sorry. And then this one. And then you only play 2 of these. So this guy's really good though, because you can actually summon him and have one on hand, and you just like boost up and you just beat over everything.
Would you ever consider playing a 3rd?
Never. This is like, you never play any more or any less of these monsters, because especially when you're playing against the Yosenju Demise mirror, it's basically a mirror, you need to have these amount of monsters because they only play like 9. You have to be, the only way to win the mirror is basically get all of their pendulums to the extra deck and then just kill their skills and hope they don't have climate change.
Okay.
One of the spells, the reason the deck's good, even though I drew it like 5 times yesterday, and I only resolved it 4 times properly. Yeah.
The card needs to be banned, I think, after.
Limited or banned.
From our national, it seemed to be 3 of the top 4 decks were Demise decks, so that's starting to show.
In the top 8, it was basically 4 Demise, 2 Pendulum, and 2 Cosmo. And then the top 4 was 3 Demise, 2 Yosenju Demise, then me playing Yosenju Demise, and then 1 Cosmo guy. The Cosmo managed to win somehow, which is pretty impressive. 3 Tinky. It's basically standard since you're playing Yosenjus,
Yeah, they're all Beast Warriors.
It's also pretty nice because it buffs them, because whenever you're playing against Yosenju Demise, they have the scales that decrease your attack and then increase your own attack, so it can be quite helpful. Then 3 Pot Duality, because it's basically like a worse version of Demise, but it synergizes with it because you don't special summon anyway, so
Get you further into the deck.
get you further in deck, and it can sometimes get you into your Demise. 2 MST. This card is very, very, very good right now because everyone's playing like a ton of back row, especially in the like Demise mirror, which is absolutely awful because you basically will hold these for either scout or else sometimes they'll play like an annoying floodgate or like they'll side into something, you know. But like,
Yeah, I noticed a couple of times like Skill Drain was flipped against you. You could probably use it against that.
Skill Drain is annoying, but they also play Recreate, and Recreate is just as bad, but Skill Drain's worse because obviously the easiest way to get rid of Recreate is just to like clear the field of the Clees, and then it gets destroyed if there's no Clee on the field.
Yeah.
Then D-Fisher, because it just ruins pendulums. Like, I had D-Fisher on the field, and then I flipped TT, and he lost like all of his pendulums. He just skipped instantly. Then Dark Hole or Geki, because Majesty's Fiend is literally what you just, like, you just cry when you see it. Like, I actually dropped it on my turn 1. Like, I couldn't draw into them. I just lost. Then like I just beat him anyway somehow. The best card in the deck. Nobody seemed to expect this, and it won me quite a lot of games. Like, people would just like summon like 2 Cosmos.
Yeah.
I would just flip this and then GG. It's also perfect synergy of this deck because these all return to hand at the end
Yeah,
of the turn.
so you're never going to have a monster on field for
It's
them.
very rare, unless like they have like effect negation, then you're kind of screwed. 2 of this one. This is basically the worst version of Drowning, but it's sometimes better because I don't believe, whenever there's a clear attack you can activate it.
I've seen some people playing 3 and 3 of both the Mirror Forces. Would you ever consider that?
I would possibly consider playing 1 Blazing Mirror Force, because that card could be very, very good, especially against the Cleeforts, because they pay so much life points
Cosmo
anyway.
as well, because of their life point pay as well.
Like any deck that pays a lot of life points, especially if they play the counter traps. Like, Blazing Mirror Force is really good. Like Barry, he was playing like 2 Blazing Mirror Force, and like he won a game against Clee because he summoned 2 of the Cleeforts that were like 2/4, and he like, just tacked into him and like, he just lost 4,800. That's like quite a lot of life points. Yeah. So on the rivalry, this card is good and bad. Against Pendulum, it's literally auto-win. Against Monarchs, it's semi-reasonable. It won me a game against Monarchs because the guy summoned Seraphinite and then he didn't have Prime Grave, so he couldn't do anything for the rest of the turn.
Yeah.
But against Cosmo, this card is absolutely awful because there's like 2 different rollings for it, and the rolling we got was that it just didn't work. Sometimes people roll it where they just can't do anything.
Yeah, I believe the ruling at our event was that they didn't have to even reveal the pilot in hand.
I was told by 2 different judges different things, and at the time, like, it didn't really matter because I had vanities anyways for the Cosmo guy, so I just won, which is rather unfortunate for him. But oh well. Overall, like, it's a good card. You should play it, but you have to side out a lot. And when you play the Demise Mirror, it's the most dead card in your deck, and you always seem to open it.
Okay.
Torrential Tribute. Now, this card's like FA. A lot of people don't like it, but since you play Yosenju, you never have a monster on the field, so it's basically another Dark Horigeki, except since you play Dimensional Fissure, and I play Macro as well, it has a lot of power, especially like if you're against Cosmo. A lot of the time they'll play Call the Hunteds, and they want to bring their stuff back. That this combined with the other thing just banishes them all anyway, so they just have no like follow up. Overall, I think this is like one of the best cards in the deck right now because no one expects it. A lot of people will play into it and just like get thrown out in their own turn. On the vanities, this card, I wasn't sure if it was actually good enough to play, but it won me so many games. I think I'd be stupid not playing it. Then lose 1 turn. I would play 1 because the card's not very good. As its name, the player only loses 1 turn. But I don't know. Against Clayford, if you have this face up, for whatever reason, you probably lose because it resets all their attacks and their levels. Yeah. So, I don't know. It's pretty dumb. It's good against Cosmo Pendulum. Against Pendulum, I flipped this on a guy and like he basically summoned a Sorcerer and like some other like random pendulums, and then I flipped TT. And then flipped this as well, and the way it resolved was his Sorks didn't get effect, and they also got banished because I had D-Fisher on the field as well. It was pretty good. He just instantly skipped after that. Macro, no reason not to play it in this format.
It does the same thing as D-Fisher.
It's basically better than D-Fisher because it banishes everything. Yeah. Like against Monarchs, this card is so good because like I believe they can still Pantheism under it and all, but that doesn't really matter. All their stuff just gets banished anyway. Then 2 strike. I have mixed feelings with this card. But a lot of the time it was very dead for me because people just either didn't open well or just too afraid to play into like 4 back row, which is very understandable. Like especially because a lot of people weren't maining Twin Twister, which I don't really agree with. I think you have to main Spell Trap here in this format. But this card won me a lot of games. A lot of people just like pendulum into this, or else just like there was like the guy who won. I played him in Swiss, and he opened double E-Telly, and I opened double this. And I just did both his E-Tellys, and I just like had the turtle for like 10 minutes until I like I think he like top deck Tin Can or something when I had like no traps, and it's just like he got Dark Lady off that, and I can't really do anything against that. Then Warning because it's Warning. I don't see why you wouldn't play it. Then Chaos Trap Hole because I really like the card.
It's good against most of the meta
It's
right
basically
now.
like against Pendulum, Cosmo, Monarch. This card just destroys them because a lot of people just don't expect it, especially against what's it called, Draco Pals. If you do this to their Luster, it's basically over for them because a lot of the time they need the Luster to like push through.
Yeah. So 40 cards was it? Yeah.
Yeah, 40 cards, 11 monsters, 14 spells, and 15 traps.
Okay.
Do you want the extra deck?
Yeah, we'll go on to the extra deck.
Tokens, 2 Fortress now. My idea for this was against Cosmo. Although Demise kind of conflicts with Cyber Dragon drawing it, this card, it won me a feature match basically because the guy didn't expect that he summoned the Dark Destroyer, and instead of popping Dark Destroyer to go into Tin Can, like he probably should have in my opinion. He just like pushed 3 for damage and left me on 3-5. I dropped Cyber Dragon back this, and he loses Dark Destroyer and I can't do anything. But against Clayford, I thought this worked, and I literally forgot that you can't do it against Pendulum monsters, but it didn't really matter. I had enough hit for Clayford anyway. Then the rest of this is just meaningless except for a few cards. Karen Gorgon, I just put it in full space. Against Clayford, Book of Moon, the best at rank 4. Because I play Tinky. So I think I made this once to pop a back row in my last round of Swiss, just because the guy had like 2 back row left and I knew 1 was drowning, so I was trying to hit that. This card, because sometimes you can make it to make game, because sometimes you only have the 1600 one, the Kama 1 and the Kama 2, and this can do 3-8 instead of like, I think it's like 3-6 they do or something, 3-5. Lightning Chidori, because I play they're like all wins, so you may as well just play this just to be safe in case they have like a set and then something else, you know, I don't know. Never made it. This guy, because like sometimes your stuff goes to grave and you can make this and shuffle it back in. Like you might have a Tinky you can activate. Dweller, because it's probably the second best rank for it at the minute. It hits like every deck. But I never made it once because normally you never want to XEs in this deck. And then Triple Cowboy, because I have 3 spaces left, but you should always play 2 at least. And I don't know, I never made it because everyone always seemed to have back row whenever I like, could have made it, but there was just no point making it anyway. I just won the games because traps are pretty balanced. So that's 15 cards in the extra deck. Then on to the side deck. Tokens, 2 Cyber Dragon. I really like this card. It kind of conflicts with Demise a bit, but thankfully it never happened to me where it did. In testing it did, but on the day it worked out pretty well. I'm very happy about it. Then Dark Hole, because you always say this against Monarchs, because Majesty Fiend is, you basically lose, and a lot of them were playing the March or whatever, so they can't be destroyed, so like you need to side in another MST as well. I sided in, I played 2 in the main obviously, and then 1 the side. Sided both them in. Then 3 Stygian Dirge for Burning Abyss, Pendulum, there was something else, but I can't remember right now. It was pretty good. I never faced 1 battle the entire day though, so it was kind of pointless. The only time I faced the Pendulum guy, I made actually, round 1 I was against a Quasar guy. I flipped this and he just scooped, because he had no white to it. But yeah, this was for ban and I never played it, unfortunately. Free Restrict, because you have to play it. Monarchs is your worst matchup, and if you ever play against it, you literally have to open this as well as anti-spell, or else you're probably just gonna have a very anti-fun time, because Ether just ruins all of your Kamas. 3 Iron Wall, because the card's just unfair. Like, if you flip this against Cosmos, they can't do an awful lot. The only way they can really get around it is if they they draw their Twin Twisters, but that doesn't always happen.
Or if they manage to somehow tribute for Slip Rider or something like that. That's like very situational plays for them to
obviously they can like e-tally out like whatever and tribute over Slip Rider, but it's very unlikely that certain combo happens. And then last minute was the 2 anti-spells. I didn't know the last 2 spots could have been. I was going to play either Electric Virus to like Infinity, or like be out Infinity rather, or else the Hope guy if I ever got made against me, because all my spells are very like crucial to the deck. Yeah. So I don't want like Hope Harbinger just like destroying me. But anti-spell, very good. It won me a lot of games, especially against Cleafor, and I would set it in against the Pendulum. But overall, I set it in a lot against a lot of stuff that I didn't think I would, just because I had a lot of times I would have like a few dead cards in my deck, and I was like, I don't really want to side in like MSTs or Dark Hole because they're kind of like dead against like whatever deck. Yeah. So I just side these in, and then basically it did the same thing as Loser Turn, put them back a turn, which allowed me to like draw an extra card and get more advantage, which is like very crucial in this deck, because a lot of the times if they get rid of your like spell traps, or if they just open really good, you kind of have to just turtle until you get like a drowning or something, just completely set them back. Yeah. But overall, like I think this deck was near perfection, if not.
Would you change anything in the side deck?
In a side deck, possibly, depends what the format was, but the main deck, the only thing I would be changing would be like something from the trap lineup, if that. Like,
maybe the Blazing Mirror Force or something like that.
Yeah, maybe I'd have Blazing Mirror Force in. I don't know, I like the deck overall. I think it was practically perfect. The only problem I had really was in the top cut, I just didn't draw Demise, and I had to play against the 2 Demise people, and they drew Demise before me, and I never won a dice roll. I won 1 dice roll, and the time I won it, I actually lost the first game, and then
did people just make you go second a lot of the time, or did they actually make you go first?
They would always go first. I never went first once, except for the time I won a dice roll and I ended up losing that game. But a lot of the time I would either like win my game 1 and then lose the game 2 and game 3, or else I would just lose game 1 and win game 2 and 3, because a lot of people like were not prepared for this deck, because
Yeah, I found a lot of cases there was a lot of people who couldn't take enough cards out of their main deck.
Like whenever I was playing against the Crawford Demise, like the guy who came second, like I remember playing against him, and then the guy who was in the top 8 with me, I can't remember his name right now, but he was playing Crawford Demise. I had to play him in Swiss as well, and he had like 10 cards in his deck, and he can only take 6 out. Like I remember he kept rivalry in just because, like, even though it's useless against me, just so I couldn't make like Cowboy or whatever to get rid of his stuff. But like game 1, I remember playing against them. We both opened rivalry and Chaos Trap Hole, which are useless against each other. So I don't know, like I think people need to start setting decrees for this, but hopefully they like emergency ban it or something, because this deck it's not fair at all.
Yeah, I think if Card Demise gets banned, I think the deck will.
The deck will be nowhere near
not survive at all.
Because you need to just basically just draw all the traps. That's what makes a good deck so good, because you basically just have like a near infinite amount of traps. It's just like it's pretty good. Like
yeah. Any closing words, Brandon?
Shout out to Craig who helped me build the deck. Shout out to Dave who actually gave the idea for the deck. I guess shout out to everyone at the event, because everyone was really cool that I played against. And then I think like there was a few like problems at the event, but overall I was actually pretty like happy with how the event was ran. The only problem I had was like the time in between rounds. Like literally was a zombie by the end of it.
Yeah, that's not easy whenever you've had very little sleep.
No, not at all.
Oh well, thank you very much, Brandon, and this is Team New Tier signing out. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.